Today we're talking about hybrid cards in Cube, and I think a good way to start is by looking at color in a very general way. Let's pretend all decks are two-color decks, and ask for each card, which decks can play this card? A monocolor card like Fabled Hero can be played by 4 of the 10 guilds, whereas a gold card can obviously only be played by 1. I find it useful to think of cards as falling along a spectrum of demand. Gold cards tend to fall on the narrow side because in most environments, only 1 or 2 drafters will be in the market for a given gold card. And as you include more and more cards that are narrow, either because of their color or mechanically, drafters will start to have more dead cards in their packs. Push this too far, and your drafts will start to feel like they're on rails. And for this reason, designers often limit the quantity of gold cards they include in their environment. And from a functional perspective, hybrid cards are almost the opposite of gold cards. A given hybrid card can be played by 7 of the 10 guilds. And actually, the same is true about fetch lands, provided you have the corresponding dual land for the guild you want to play. So most hybrids, therefore, fall somewhere between monocolor and colorless cards. And I say most because obviously you can find exceptions. And even here, you'll note that it's very environment dependent. I've ordered the demand according to kind of how it would be in my cube, but in your cube, it might be the other way around. And this is actually a pretty interesting case because if you look at Shadowmoor block, where Demigod of Revenge comes from, that block used hybrids to create some sort of overlapping demand between different monocolor decks, and that design goal isn't met at all by a gold card like Kolaghan's Command. And it's worth noting that narrow doesn't really mean bad design wise. The green 7 drop is quite narrow in my cube, but I need it to make the ramp archetype worthwhile. Which brings us to. Personally, I think classification is a bit overblown. To me, it falls kind of on the rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic side of cube design. But if we're going to dive into it, we've already seen that gold cards function quite differently from hybrids, and certainly shouldn't be treated the same way when allocating room in your cube. And if you make a change, like upgrading your Jackal Pup to a Rakdos Cackler, I don't think you suddenly need to find 9 other hybrids to justify the decision. As for me, I tend to just shove them into a monocolor section. If possible, I'll balance them out between 2, but I wouldn't worry about it too much if things are a little off. Thanks for watching. That's all for today because my baby is waking up. Yo.